The distress signal. The night sky over Earth was calm, but deep in the heart of the Solar Observation Station, a storm of activity was brewing. Astronomers were staring at screens filled with data from the farthest reaches of space. A strange signal had been detected, something no human had ever seen or heard before. Dr. Michael Carter, a seasoned astrophysicist, stood frozen in front of his console. The signal wasn't just random noise or the usual cosmic static. It was a message, structured and deliberate. It carried a rhythm, almost like a desperate heartbeat. "This isn't natural," Michael muttered, drawing the attention of his assistant, Clara, a young and sharp data analyst. "Run the patterns again. I need confirmation." Clara's fingers flew over the keyboard. The screen lit up with translations and decodings. "It's a distress call," she said, her voice trembling. "It's coming from another star system, a very distant one." The room went silent, except for the hum of machines. An alien distress call. This was no small discovery. The signal spoke of catastrophe, annihilation, and an unknown threat. The word help was repeated multiple times, as if pleading for someone, anyone, to respond. Dr. Carter immediately contacted the United Earth Council. Within hours, the world's brightest minds were summoned to a top-secret meeting. Sitting in the high-tech council chamber, representatives from every nation watched the decoded message on the screen. A hologram of the alien message flickered. Strange symbols danced across the air, translated into Earth languages. A haunting voice followed, synthetic and filled with desperation. "To any who can hear us, we are the Valyrians. Our world is lost. Our people are dying. The eclipsers are coming. Save us, and save yourselves." The room erupted in murmurs. Leaders and scientists whispered among themselves, unsure of what to make of it. Was this a trap, a test, or was it truly a cry for help? Why would an advanced alien species ask us for help? One council member questioned. Surely they have their own means to protect themselves. Maybe they don't, countered another. Or maybe this eclipser threat is so dangerous even they can't handle it. General Marcus Steele, head of Earth's defense forces, stood and spoke firmly. "We need to be cautious. For all we know, this could be a ploy to lure us into an ambush. We can't risk humanity's safety." Dr. Elena Call, the leading xenobiologist, raised her hand. "But if this is genuine, and we ignore it, we could miss an opportunity to forge alliances, or worse, the threat they're warning about could come for us next." The debate raged on for hours. Some argued that Earth should remain silent, avoid drawing attention to itself. Others believed it was humanity's duty to respond, to show the universe that humans were not just survivors but helpers, capable of compassion. In the end, the president of the United Earth Council, Sophia Reyes, made the final decision. "We will respond," she declared, her voice steady. "But we will proceed carefully. If there is even a small chance that this threat is real, we cannot ignore it. Humanity has always risen to challenges, and this will be no different." The Council approved the construction of a special fleet designed for both investigation and defense. Engineers, scientists, and soldiers from around the globe were recruited for the mission. The fleet would be humanity's first venture beyond the solar system to face an alien threat, or perhaps make first contact. As preparations began, the alien signal continued to transmit. Every time it was played, the haunting voice seemed to grow more desperate. Dr. Call worked tirelessly to decode more details, uncovering a startling revelation. The coordinates embedded in the message were dangerously close to a massive black hole. Meanwhile, General Steele prepared Earth's defenses, just in case. Satellites were repositioned, and experimental weapons were tested. If this was a trap, humanity would not go down without a fight. The world watched with bated breath as news of the signal leaked to the public. People were divided. Some were excited about the possibility of meeting aliens. Others feared the worst, an invasion or worse, extinction. But for now, The fate of humanity rested in the hands of the fleet being built on Mars' colony. As weeks turned into months, the fleet, codenamed Vanguard, neared completion. State-of-the-art ships equipped with advanced AI and experimental energy shields were prepared. Pilots underwent rigorous training. The mission's leader, Captain Raj Malik, a decorated officer known for his courage and unshakable resolve, promised his team one thing: "We will be the first to show the universe what humanity is capable of." But just as the fleet was ready to depart, Earth received a second transmission. This time, the Valerians' message was more urgent and more alarming. "You must hurry. The eclipsers are coming. Your world will not survive." The signal's origin point showed strange fluctuations, as if something massive was moving toward the solar system. Alarms blared in observatories across the planet. Something was out there, something big, and it was coming. Dr. Carter stared at the data, his face pale. "This isn't just their problem anymore," he said quietly. "It's ours." The fleet launched into the unknown, carrying with it the hopes and fears of all humanity. Humanity's gamble. The silence of space was broken by the deafening roar of engines as the Vanguard fleet left Mars' colony, its sleek ships shimmering under the cold light of distant stars. At the heart of the flagship Erebus, Captain Raj Malik stood on the bridge, his eyes fixed on the vast emptiness ahead. "Let's not kid ourselves," he said, addressing his crew through the ship's intercom. "We're heading straight into the unknown, responding to a cry for help from an alien species we've never met. But this is what humanity does. We explore, we adapt, we survive." The crew cheered, but the excitement couldn't mask the lingering tension. Every member of the fleet knew the risks. They were not just explorers. They were potential warriors on an interstellar battlefield. The secret mission. Unbeknownst to most of the crew, there was more to the mission than a rescue. In a sealed conference room aboard the Erebus, Captain Malik met with Dr. Elena Call and General Marcus Steele via a secure holographic channel. "This isn't just about saving the Valerians," General Steele began, his tone grave. "Our scans of their message contain energy readings matching an anomaly near Earth decades ago. If the eclipsers are real, they might already know we exist." Dr. Call nodded. "And if they're lying to us, this could be the biggest threat humanity has ever faced. That's why we've equipped your fleet with experimental weapons, just in case." Captain Malik listened in silence, then asked, "And if it's a trap?" "Then we make sure humanity walks away stronger," General Steele replied. Malik leaned back in his chair, his mind already running through contingency plans. He had always been a man of action, but this mission was unlike anything he'd faced before. The weight of humanity's survival rested on his shoulders, and there was no room for error. Suspicious coordinates. The fleet reached the edge of the solar system, where the stars burned brighter and the mysteries of the galaxy felt closer. The alien signal grew stronger, guiding them toward a desolate system bathed in the eerie glow of a dying star. "This is it," Dr. Call said, staring at the holographic map. "The signal's origin is just beyond that asteroid belt. But there's something odd." "What do you mean?" Malik asked, stepping closer. Call zoomed in on the map, highlighting strange energy patterns near the coordinates. "These signatures are inconsistent. It's almost as if the signal is bouncing off multiple locations. Either the Valerians are hiding something, or it's a trap," Malik finished, his tone sharp. He turned to his second-in-command, Lieutenant Mira Tanaka. "Order all ships to red alert. I want drones deployed ahead of us to scout the area." The fleet slowed as drones raced forward, their cameras and sensors feeding back images of the alien system. What they found was both breathtaking and terrifying. A graveyard of giants. The fleet emerged into a vast debris field. Shattered fragments of colossal ships, some larger than cities, floated silently. The wreckage bore scars of energy weapons far beyond human technology. "This was a battle," Mira whispered, her voice barely audible over the hum of the bridge. Dr. Call scanned the debris, her expression grim. These ships belong to the Valyrians. This wasn't just a fight, it was a massacre. Can we confirm the presence of eclipsers? Malik asked. Call hesitated. No direct evidence yet, but the level of destruction here suggests something immensely powerful. Whatever did this, it's unlike anything we've ever faced. First contact. As the fleet maneuvered through the debris, a blinding light erupted in front of them. A sleek, crystalline ship emerged, shimmering like liquid metal. The alien craft moved with impossible precision, weaving through the wreckage effortlessly. Contact established. A communications officer announced. Incoming transmission from the Valyrians. A holographic projector activated, and a figure materialized on the bridge. The Valyrian ambassadors stood tall, their elongated form almost ethereal. Their skin glowed faintly, like the embers of a dying fire, and their eyes were pools of deep, shifting light. "We greet you, humans of Earth," the Valyrian said, their voice calm but weary. "We thank you for heeding our call. Time is short, and much depends on your help." Captain Malik stepped forward. "We've come to understand your plight, but we need to know the truth. What are the eclipsers, and why are they a threat to us?" The Valyrian hesitated, a flicker of unease crossing their luminous face. "The eclipsers are the end of life as we know it. They are not mere invaders. They consume all they touch, leaving nothing behind. They have already destroyed our worlds, and they will come for yours." Dr. Call scrutinized the alien's every word, her mind racing with questions. The Valyrians were persuasive, but something about their story didn't sit right. Why had such an advanced species been so utterly defeated? And why did their message contain inconsistencies? "Captain," Call whispered, pulling Malik aside. "We need to be careful. There's more to this than they're telling us." Malik nodded. "Trust me, Doctor. I don't plan on handing over our trust, or our firepower, just yet." A new threat. Before further questions could be asked, alarms blared across the fleet. A shadow passed through the debris field, vast and menacing. Long-range sensors picked up a massive object moving toward them at an impossible speed. "What is that?" Mira shouted, her hands flying over the controls. The Valyrian ambassador turned, their glowing eyes darkening. "They have found us." The eclipsers had arrived. First contact. The Vanguard fleet drifted into the silent void of the Valyrian star system, a place that felt more like a graveyard than a home. The light from a dying red star painted the wreckage in eerie shadows. Gigantic debris fields stretched out for millions of kilometers, the shattered remains of ships that once belonged to a civilization far more advanced than Earth's. "Are you seeing this?" Lieutenant Mira Tanaka whispered, her voice barely breaking the stillness of the Erebus's bridge. Captain Raj Malik leaned forward, his sharp eyes scanning the endless expanse of destruction displayed on the main holographic screen. "I see it, Lieutenant," he said grimly. "This is no accident. Something tore these ships apart with surgical precision. A warning in the ruins." Dr. Elena Call, stationed in the science bay, worked furiously to analyze the scattered data coming in from the fleet's sensors. "Captain, the wreckage isn't just from the Valyrians," her voice crackled over the intercom. "I'm detecting materials and technology from at least 3 other species we've never encountered before." Malik frowned. "Other species? Are you saying the eclipsers have wiped out more than just the Valyrians?" "Exactly," Call replied, her tone heavy with unease. "Whatever these eclipsers are, they don't just conquer, they erase." A hush fell over the bridge. For all their preparations, humanity's first step into the wider galaxy now felt more like stepping onto a battlefield already lost. The Valyrians appear. As the fleet moved deeper into the system, they approached the source of the distress signal. At first, it was nothing more than a faint blip on their sensors, but soon, a massive crystalline structure came into view. It shimmered with an unearthly light, standing alone amidst the devastation. "That must be them," Mira said, her voice tinged with both awe and suspicion. A sudden flash of light erupted from the structure. Within seconds, a sleek Valyrian ship materialized in front of the fleet. Its hull looked like liquid glass, rippling as it moved with an elegance that Earth's engineers could only dream of. "This is the Valyrian flagship Lumina," a voice spoke through the comms, smooth yet mechanical. "We greet the brave travelers from Earth." The bridge's holographic projector activated, and an image of the Valyrian ambassador appeared. Tall, slender, and glowing faintly, their presence was both mesmerizing and unsettling. Their eyes, deep pools of shimmering light, seemed to pierce straight through anyone who looked at them. "I am Ambassador Tyval," the Valyrian said, their voice calm but tinged with sorrow. "You have come in response to our plea. For this, we are grateful. But you must know, time is short, and the threat is closer than you believe." Hidden truths. Captain Malik crossed his arms, his expression unreadable. "Ambassador Tyval, your message spoke of a threat called the Eclipsers. What exactly are they?" Tyval hesitated for a moment, a flicker of unease crossing their glowing features. "The Eclipsers are a force of destruction," they said slowly. "They are not like you or me. They are not living beings in the way you understand. They consume all life, all energy, leaving only silence in their wake." The bridge crew exchanged uneasy glances. Dr. Call's voice cut in over the comms. "Ambassador, if they are so powerful, why did they leave this system intact? Why not finish the job?" Tyval's gaze darkened. "They are patient predators, Doctor. They spread like a shadow, waiting until their prey is too weak to resist. Our people tried to fight back, but our greatest weapons failed us. That is why we turn to you. Humanity's ingenuity may be the galaxy's last hope." A choice of faith. Captain Malik wasn't convinced. There was something about Tyval's tone, their carefully chosen words, that felt off. "We've seen the debris. If your weapons failed, what exactly do you expect us to do? Humanity is strong, but we're not miracle workers." Tyval's glowing eyes locked onto his. "You underestimate yourselves, Captain. Your species is young, yet you have accomplished what many older civilizations could not. Your resilience is your greatest weapon." Mira, standing beside Malik, leaned in. "Captain, permission to speak freely." "Go ahead," Malik replied, not taking his eyes off the hologram. "This feels wrong," Mira whispered. "Why would a species as advanced as theirs need us? And why now? It's like they're hiding something." Malik nodded subtly. "Noted. A sudden attack." Before more questions could be asked, alarms blared across the fleet. The Erebus shook violently as something massive entered the system. "Unidentified object on sensors," shouted the tactical officer. It's enormous." The holographic map displayed a hulking, shadowy mass, its sheer size dwarfing even the largest Valyrian ships. It moved with an unnatural grace, as if it was alive. "It's them," Tyval whispered, their voice trembling for the first time. "The Eclipsers have found us." The shadow began to unfold, revealing biomechanical tendrils that reached out toward the fleet like the claws of a predator. The air on the Erebus grew thick with tension as the bridge crew scrambled to prepare for battle. The unexpected move. As the fleet prepared to engage, Tyval's ship suddenly pulled back, retreating toward their crystalline structure. "Ambassador," Malik shouted through the comms. "Where are you going? We need your help." Tyval's image flickered, their expression unreadable. "We must protect what remains of our people. Your fleet will buy us the time we need. Humanity's strength lies in sacrifice, does it not?" The line went dead. The trap. The Erebus floated silently in the depths of the Valyrian system, its hull reflecting the faint red glow of the dying star. The aftermath of the first encounter with the Eclipsers had left the fleet shaken but intact. For now, on the bridge, Captain Raj Malik stood with his hands clasped behind his back, his sharp eyes scanning the holographic display. "Damage report?" Malik asked. Lieutenant Mira Tanaka glanced at her console. "Minor damage to our forward shields, but the rest of the fleet is intact. The Eclipsers retreated after our counterattack." "Too easily," Malik muttered. "They didn't press their advantage. That's not the behavior of a predator." Hidden motives. Dr. Elena Call entered the bridge, her face pale and tense. "Captain, we need to talk. Now." Malik gestured toward his private quarters, and the two stepped inside. Call wasted no time. "I've been analyzing the energy signatures from the Eclipsers. They're unusual." "How unusual?" Malik asked, his tone even but his expression hardening. Call tapped her tablet, projecting a series of waveforms. "The Eclipsers emit a specific energy field that resonates with the Valyrian technology. But here's the catch. These same signatures match the Valyrian weapon systems. It's almost like they're connected." Malik raised an eyebrow. "Connected? As in the Valyrians are controlling them?" Call shook her head. "Not controlling. But the evidence suggests that the Eclipsers and the Valyrians share a common origin, or at least a shared history. A fractured alliance." The revelation left Malik uneasy. He called an emergency meeting with the fleet's senior officers and broadcasted a secure channel to the Lumina, the Valyrian flagship. Ambassador Tyval's holographic form flickered into view, their glowing eyes unreadable. "Ambassador," Malik began, "we've uncovered something concerning your technology, and the Eclipsers share certain similarities. Care to explain?" Tyval's expression darkened. "You question us after we have guided you to safety. The Eclipsers are our enemies, Captain, as they are yours. Do not waste precious time with paranoia." "With respect," Call interjected, "the evidence doesn't lie. If there's something you're not telling us, now is the time." Tyval's glowing form grew rigid. "You misunderstand the situation, humans. The Eclipsers are a force of nature, not a creation. We called for your help because your ingenuity is our last hope. If you choose to waste it on distrust, you doom not only us but yourselves." Before Malik could respond, Tyval cut the transmission. The ancient weapon. As tensions mounted, the fleet received new coordinates from the Valyrians, pointing toward a barren moon orbiting a shattered gas giant. Tyval had described it as the resting place of their greatest weapon, a relic from a time when the Valyrians were the dominant force in the galaxy. The fleet approached cautiously, deploying drones to scout the surface. The moon's surface was a wasteland, littered with craters and metallic ruins. At its center stood a massive structure, an obelisk-like tower that pulsed faintly with an inner light. "This must be it," Call said over the comms. "The energy readings are off the charts." Malik ordered a landing party, consisting of scientists and Marines, to investigate. As the team descended onto the moon's surface, the tension aboard the Erebus was palpable. A discovery and a warning. Inside the ancient structure, the landing team found a control chamber filled with alien symbols and machinery. Dr. Call, leading the investigation remotely, guided the team through translating the glyphs. "This isn't just a weapon," Call said, her voice tinged with awe and dread. "It's a failsafe. The Valyrians built this to destroy entire star systems if the Eclipsers couldn't be stopped." The revelation hit hard. Destroying a star system wasn't just a desperate act, it was genocide on an unimaginable scale. Suddenly, the chamber trembled. A low hum echoed through the ruins as the obelisk activated. The landing party scrambled for cover as a beam of light shot into the sky, piercing the dark void of space. "Captain, the obelisk just sent out a signal," Call reported, her voice tight. "And it's not just targeting the Eclipsers, it's broadcasting across the entire galaxy." A trap revealed. Back on the Erebus, alarms blared. The fleet's sensors picked up multiple incoming signatures, hostile and fast. The Eclipsers were returning, and this time, They weren't alone. Smaller Valyrian ships, once dormant wrecks in the debris field, powered up and moved toward the human fleet. "It's a trap," Malik said coldly. "The Valyrians didn't bring us here to save them. They'd brought us here to finish their war." The holographic image of Tyval appeared on the bridge once more. "Captain Malik," they said, their voice calm but resolute. "You have done your part well. Humanity's fleet will hold the Eclipsers while we prepare the weapon. Your sacrifice will ensure the survival of our species. You planned this from the start," Malik growled, his anger barely contained. Tyval tilted their head. "You misunderstand us, as all younger species do. Sacrifice is necessary for survival. You should feel honored to play such an important role." The transmission ended, and the Valyrian ships turned hostile, firing on the human fleet. "Humanity's defiance. Orders, Captain," Mira shouted over the chaos as the bridge rocked from the impact of enemy fire. Malik's jaw tightened. "We're not going down without a fight. Signal the fleet, prepare for evasive maneuvers, and get me a strike team for that obelisk. If they think we're pawns, they're about to learn how wrong they are." As the Erebus launched countermeasures, Malik sent a small covert team to disable the obelisk. Humanity wasn't about to be sacrificed for someone else's war. Not today. Humanity's bold move. The silence on the Erebus's bridge was shattered by the sharp alarm of proximity sensors. On the holographic display, the massive forms of the Eclipsers loomed closer, their shadowy tendrils writhing through space like living nightmares. But this time, they weren't alone. The Valyrian fleet, once dormant and fractured, had reassembled, and their ships moved with deadly precision against humanity. "This is betrayal, plain and simple," Lieutenant Mira Tanaka spat, her hands clenched into fists. "We came to help, and they're treating us like expendable pawns." "Not expendable," Captain Rajmalik corrected, his voice calm but cutting. "They think we're a distraction. Let's show them we're something far more dangerous." The ambush. The Erebus and the Vanguard fleet swarmed into defensive formations. Earth's ships, though smaller and less advanced than the Valyrians, were brimming with ingenuity. Experimental plasma lenses, adaptive shields, and AI-guided drones came to life as the fleet prepared to engage both the Valyrians and the Eclipsers. Dr. Elena Call's voice crackled over the comms. "Captain, I've been analyzing the obelisk's signal. It's amplifying the Eclipsers' movements. It's like they're being drawn to it. We need to disable it, or we won't stand a chance." Malik's eyes flicked toward the battle map. The Valyrians' crystalline ships were closing in fast, while the Eclipsers lurked just behind them, waiting for an opening. "Lieutenant Tanaka," he said, "pull the fleet into Sector Delta and bait them toward the asteroid field. If we're going to fight, we're doing it on our terms." Into the asteroid field. The Vanguard fleet veered sharply, darting into a dense field of spinning asteroids. Valyrian ships followed, their sleek forms weaving through the debris with unsettling grace. Earth's ships, though bulkier, used the asteroids as cover, outmaneuvering their pursuers. "Target their engines," Malik ordered. "We don't need to destroy them. Just slow them down." Plasma fire lit up the void as the human fleet executed coordinated strikes, crippling several Valyrian ships. For every Valyrian vessel that fell, the Eclipsers seemed to grow bolder, creeping closer, their monstrous forms casting unnatural shadows across the battlefield. "We're outnumbered," Mira said, her voice tense. "We can't hold this position forever." Malik's expression hardened. "We don't need forever, just long enough for the strike team." The strike team's mission. Far below, on the surface of the barren moon, the strike team moved with quiet urgency. Led by Commander Aaron Vega, the group of elite Marines and engineers infiltrated the obelisk's core. The ancient structure pulsed with energy, its alien glyphs glowing brighter with every step. "This place gives me the creeps," one Marine muttered, his voice echoing in the cavernous chamber. "Stay focused," Vega snapped. "Call, guide us to the control center." From the Erebus, Dr. Call directed the team remotely, her eyes glued to the obelisk schematics. "You're close. There's a power core ahead. It's the source of the signal." As the team approached the core, they found something unexpected, a holographic archive, displaying images of the Valyrians' past. "What is this?" Vega asked, his rifle raised. Call's voice faltered. "It's a history. The Valyrians didn't just fight the Eclipsers, they created them." A terrible truth. The holograms revealed a dark secret. Millennia ago, the Valyrians had attempted to engineer a perfect weapon to ensure their dominance over the galaxy. The Eclipsers were the result, a biomechanical swarm designed to consume and repurpose energy on a massive scale. But the weapon had grown beyond their control, turning on its creators. "This isn't a war," Call said, her voice trembling. "This is cleanup. The Valyrians are trying to erase their own mistake, and us along with it." Vega's jaw tightened. "Captain, you hearing this?" Malik's voice came through the comms. Loud and clear. "Disable that core. We'll deal with the fallout later." Humanity's counterattack. Back in the asteroid field, the human fleet launched a daring counterattack. Using the asteroids as both cover and ammunition, Earth's ships turned the field into a weapon. "Captain, Valyrian flagship is in range," Mira reported. "Fire the arc lance," Malik ordered. The Erebus's experimental weapon, a concentrated plasma beam capable of piercing advanced shields, roared to life. The Valyrian flagship buckled under the assault, its crystalline hull shattering like glass. The Valyrians faltered, their formation breaking apart, but the Eclipsers surged forward, sensing weakness. "Brace for impact," Malik shouted as the shadowy tendrils of an Eclipser reached toward the Erebus. Turning the tables. On the moon, Vega's team planted charges around the obelisk's core. "Charges set," Vega reported. "Detonating in 3, 2. The explosion was blinding, ripping through the obelisk and severing its connection to the Eclipsers. The monstrous creatures paused, their movements becoming erratic. On the Erebus, Call confirmed the results. "Captain, the signal's down. The Eclipsers are disoriented. This is our chance." "Understood," Malik said. "All ships, focus fire on the Eclipsers. Drive them back." Humanity's bold move. With the Valyrians in retreat and the Eclipsers weakened, the Vanguard fleet pushed forward. Earth's ships, battered but unbroken, unleashed everything they had. The Eclipsers, now leaderless and disorganized, began to withdraw, retreating into the void. As the battle ended, Malik turned to his crew. "We came here as rescuers. We leave as survivors. Humanity isn't just a bystander in this galaxy. We're a force to be reckoned with." The ultimate betrayal. The Erebus floated in silence above the ruined moon, its once pristine hull scarred from battle. The Vanguard fleet regrouped, battered but victorious. For now. On the bridge, Captain Raj Malik stared at the holographic map, his mind racing with questions. The Eclipsers had retreated, but the cost of victory gnawed at him. "Dr. Call," Malik said, his voice steady, "tell me again what we found in that obelisk." Call's face appeared on the comm screen, her expression grim. "The Valyrians created the Eclipsers. They tried to engineer the ultimate weapon, but it backfired. Now they're using us to clean up their mess." Lieutenant Mira Tanaka slammed her hand on the console. "They lied to us from the start. We risked everything to help them, and this is how they repay us." "They're desperate," Call said. "But desperation doesn't excuse betrayal." A sudden turn. Before Malik could respond, alarms blared across the ship. "Captain," shouted the tactical officer. "Incoming transmission from the Valyrian flagship." Tyval's holographic form materialized on the bridge, their glowing eyes colder than ever. "Captain Malik," they began, their voice devoid of the earlier sorrow. "Your actions have disrupted a delicate balance. The Eclipsers will return, stronger and angrier. You've doomed us all." Malik's jaw tightened. You used us as bait. Don't lecture me about balance. Tyval tilted their head, their expression unreadable. You misunderstand. We were giving you a chance to prove your worth. Clearly, humanity is resourceful, but not trustworthy. The hologram flickered, replaced by a chilling sight. Dozens of Valyrian ships powering up, their weapons locking onto the human fleet. "Captain," Mira whispered, her voice tense. "They're preparing to fire." Tyval's voice echoed one final warning. "Surrender your fleet and your technology. Perhaps we can still find a way forward. Resist, and you will join the countless others who have fallen to us. Humanity's resolve." Malik's voice cut through the tension like a blade. "Open a channel to the fleet." The bridge crew moved quickly, and moments later, Malik's face appeared on every ship's screen. "Listen up," he began, his tone calm but commanding. "The Valyrians think they can intimidate us. They think we'll fold under pressure. But they don't understand what it means to be human. We've faced extinction before, and every time, we've come out stronger." He paused, letting his words sink in. "We're not just fighting for survival. We're fighting to show this galaxy that humanity doesn't bow to tyrants. So get ready. This isn't over." The fleet erupted in cheers, their determination reignited. The battle begins. The Valyrian ships opened fire first, their crystalline weapons slicing through space with precision. Earth's ships, though outnumbered, fought back with everything they had. The Erebus led the charge, its plasma lances tearing through the Valyrian formation. "Target their shield generators," Mira shouted, her fingers flying across the console. Explosions lit up the void as human ships executed coordinated strikes, exploiting every weakness in the Valyrian defenses. For every Earth ship that fell, 2 Valyrian vessels were crippled. "This isn't just strategy," Malik muttered, watching the battle unfold. "It's instinct. They're used to fighting machines, not people. A desperate gamble." As the battle raged, Call's voice came over the comms. "Captain, I've been analyzing the Valyrians' fleet movements. They're protecting something, a central command ship. If we take it out, we might force a retreat." Malik nodded. "Then that's our target. Mira, plot a course." The Erebus and a handful of remaining ships pushed toward the massive Valyrian command vessel. Its crystalline surface shimmered with an almost ethereal glow, radiating power. "Captain," Call said urgently, "that ship's energy core is tied to the obelisk remnants. If we destroy it, the resulting chain reaction could take out the entire system." Malik's lips pressed into a thin line. "Then we'd better not miss." The ultimate betrayal. As the Erebus approached the command ship, Tyval's voice returned, laced with anger. "You've forced our hand, Captain. Your species will regret this." The Valyrians activated their final weapon, a massive energy wave designed to disable all technology within range. Earth's ships shuddered as systems flickered and failed. "Captain, we're losing power," Mira yelled. But humanity's ingenuity wasn't so easily defeated. Malik activated the Erebus's prototype shielding, an experimental design created specifically for scenarios like this. The shield absorbed the wave, redirecting the energy into their weapons. "Fire," Malik commanded. The Erebus's plasma lance unleashed its full fury, striking the command ship's core. The Valyrian vessel exploded in a blinding flash, its fragments cascading through space. The aftermath. The remaining Valyrian ships faltered, their formation breaking apart. One by one, they retreated, leaving the battlefield eerily quiet. On the Erebus, the bridge erupted in cheers, but Malik's expression remained somber. "This isn't over," he said quietly. "The Valyrians will regroup, and the Eclipsers are still out there." Call nodded. "We've bought ourselves time, but we've also painted a target on our backs. The galaxy knows what humanity is capable of now, for better or worse." Humanity's surprise. The Erebus floated in the eerie silence of space, its hull battered but resolute. The vanguard fleet was diminished, reduced to half its strength after the brutal betrayal by the Valyrians and the relentless onslaught of the Eclipsers. Yet, against all odds, humanity had survived. On the bridge, Captain Raj Malik stared out at the void, his mind racing with possibilities. The battle was over, but the war had only just begun. "Status report," Malik said, his voice calm but commanding. Lieutenant Mira Tanaka glanced at her console. "Fleet is regrouping. We got critical damage on several ships, but we're holding together." Dr. Elena Call's voice crackled over the comms from the science bay. "Captain, there's something you need to see. We intercepted a signal, Eclipser code, but it's different. The enemy's warning." On the main screen, Call displayed the intercepted transmission. The message was unlike anything they'd seen before. Lines of alien script flickered alongside haunting, distorted audio. Then clear words emerged, translated by the fleet's AI. "We were running. Now we turn." The bridge went silent. The implication was clear. The Eclipsers, once thought to be mindless destroyers, were retreating no longer. "They're regrouping," Call said. "And they shifted their focus. They're coming for us." Mira turned to Malik. "What do we do, Captain? If they're adapting, we won't survive another attack like the last one." Malik's gaze hardened. "We don't wait for them to come to us. We take the fight to them. Humanity's hidden weapon." Malik gathered his senior officers in the Erebus's war room. Holographic projections of the Eclipser fleet loomed over the table. "We can't face them head-on," Mira said. "Not in our current state. That's why we use our trump card," Malik replied. He tapped a console, revealing schematics for a prototype ship, the Nova Lance, humanity's most advanced experimental vessel. Call's eyes widened. "I thought the Nova Lance was still in testing. It's not ready for deployment." "It's the only chance we've got," Malik said. The Nova Lance's energy field disruptor was designed to counter large-scale energy-based threats. If it works, it could cripple the Eclipsers long enough for us to strike. The final push. The fleet set a course for the Eclipser stronghold, a massive swirling vortex of energy on the edge of the galaxy. The closer they got, the more oppressive the environment became. Sensors malfunctioned, communications crackled, and the void seemed alive with tension. As they neared the stronghold, the Nova Lance joined the fleet, its sleek, triangular design glowing with untested power. On board, a skeleton crew prepared to activate the disruptor, knowing the risks involved. "Captain," Call said over the comms, "if the disruptor fails, the Nova Lance could go critical. The energy backlash would destroy us all." Malik nodded. "Understood. But if we don't try, we're dead anyway." The battle for survival. The Eclipser fleet emerged from the vortex, their massive biomechanical forms pulsing with malevolent energy. The sight was overwhelming. Hundreds of them, each larger and more menacing than the last. "Steady," Malik said, his voice calm despite the chaos. "We stick to the plan." The Nova Lance moved into position, its disruptor charging. The rest of the fleet formed a protective perimeter, engaging the Eclipsers with everything they had. Plasma lances, missile salvos, and drone swarms lit up the void in a dazzling display of firepower. Humanity's gamble. As the battle raged, the Nova Lance unleashed its disruptor. A wave of energy rippled through space, hitting the Eclipsers like a tidal force. The creatures faltered, their tendrils twitching erratically as their energy cores destabilized. "It's working," Call shouted. Malik seized the moment. "All ships, concentrate fire on their central units. Take them out while they're vulnerable." The Vanguard fleet launched a coordinated assault, targeting the Eclipser's cores. One by one, the monstrous beings exploded, their massive forms disintegrating into the void. A new threat. Just as victory seemed within reach, the vortex began to shift. A massive shadow emerged, larger than any Eclipser they had encountered before. Its form was a swirling amalgamation of energy and machinery, radiating an almost sentient malice. "What is that?" Mira gasped. Call's voice trembled. It's not just an eclipser. It's their source. Their creator. Malik gritted his teeth. Then we end it here. Humanity's surprise. The Nova Lance, now damaged but still operational, made a final approach toward the colossal entity. The skeleton crew aboard the ship prepared for a suicide mission, knowing the disruptor's next blast would overload the ship's core. "This is for humanity," the Nova Lance's captain said over the comms. "It's been an honor." The Nova Lance activated its disruptor one last time, sending a massive wave of energy directly into the entity. The resulting explosion tore through the vortex, collapsing the structure and obliterating the remaining eclipsers. The aftermath. The Vanguard fleet drifted in the aftermath of the battle, the void eerily quiet once more. Malik stood on the bridge of the Erebus, watching as the stars slowly reappeared. "We did it," Mira said softly. Malik nodded, though his expression remained serious. "We won this battle, but the galaxy knows who we are now. And not everyone will see us as heroes." Call appeared on the comms, her face pale but hopeful. "Captain, we've detected faint signals from other systems, survivors, other civilizations. Maybe this is the start of something new." Malik allowed himself a small smile. "Maybe. But one thing's certain. Humanity isn't just part of the galaxy now. We're a force to be reckoned with."